Hi, this is Zach, and welcome back to my channel. In this video, we're going to be discussing probably the reasons why Andy Byford had left the New York City Transit because of a certain individual who was no longer the governor of the state of New York, former Governor Andrew Cuomo. So apparently, somebody's upset that there's two rock stars in the state and there's only room for one. So this is probably what happened. Of course, the year is 2017. It was a June day. It's before 10 o'clock, 125th Street. Rush hour is already over. People are settling down. There's an A train approaching 125th Street, made up of R46s that had been running there since they were transferred from Queens Boulevard a few years ago to replace the R44 equipment. Now, lo and behold, nobody knew this at the time, but track gang made repairs earlier in that day in the area, replacing old rails with new, but unfortunately didn't secure the rails as required by New York City Transit rules. So as a result, around 10 o'clock, as this A train was running over this area, one of the rails all of a sudden flew up, hit the train, put the train in emergency, and derailed two of the cars. As the mother would say, as he was partially in the station, all of a sudden he felt this backlash. He went forward and then he went backwards. Of course, he's called it in and tried to investigate, see what was going on. And it finds out, lo and behold, his train has derailed. Two cars are on the tracks. One of the cars is badly damaged, but lo and behold, nobody was on the tracks. Nobody was killed. It was a miracle. Had it been the R44s that were running there years ago, story might have came with a different ending. Because unfortunately, the 44s were much weaker than the 46s. It's like the Titanic and its sister ship. The Titanic was weaker than the sister ship. Of course, the Titanic's the one that got hit with the iceberg. The sister ship got hit with munitions from World War I. So, in other words, this car is not easy to break. But unfortunately, after the dust is settled, everybody's off the tracks, everything is straightened out for the evening rush. Unfortunately, the express tracks were still out of service. Of course, the governor is looking for answers, and something has to be done because already Long Island Railroad and Amtrak's having their problems in that year. So that's how we ended up with Andrew Byford. Andrew Byford was an expert. This is the person who would have fixed the subway system and brought it up to code to the 21st century. I'm not saying it's not in the 21st century, but unfortunately, it's still lagging behind the commuter lines. But unfortunately, as time went on and on and on, Andy Byford and former Governor Andrew Cuomo started clashing. To the point, eventually, Andy Byford had to leave. And I remember when the announcement was made that he was leaving, I said, oh my gosh, I knew the agency was in trouble. And sure enough, the collapse didn't take that long. With the COVID virus came in, killing over 130 people. Now, if Andy Byford would have been there, most likely this wouldn't have happened. But, you know, when you have a governor who's at the horse's rear end, well, things like this will happen. So, I had nothing nice to say about Andrew Cuomo except he's a jackass. And I'm glad he's gone. And by the way, when are you going to get back the campaign money that you got for 2022? Because you're not running for governor anymore. Bring it back. You don't deserve any of that. You deserve jail time. So this Outcast saying so long for now. Don't forget to stop. Yes, I hate Cuomo. Man, I should make t-shirts like that. I hate Cuomo. Give his money back. Okay. Bonus video. I think the number of reasons why Andy Byford and Andrew Cuomo clashed and probably led to Andy's leaving the agency is because of two issues. Cuomo wanted to separate the presidency of the New York City Transit, one for the buses and one for the subway. Andy Byford was president for both at the time. I don't think he liked that. Also, when Andy Byford decided to follow the Tom Pendergrass's plan for the airline that was supposed to shut down the tunnel on 14th Street between Brooklyn and Manhattan to repair it for damage from Hurricane Sandy, like they did with the airline. See, Tom Pendergrass got to do what he wanted to do and shut down the tunnel, but when Andy Byford tried to do it, Andrew Cuomo interfered. Remember, he had the college professors go and check to see if there was anything they could do to speed up the process. But Andrew Byford did do some good things. He did lay down the law on some of the contractors and other people that was dragging the system down. After he laid down the law on them, because they kept delaying the 179s, they ended up getting 10 extra cars because of Andrew Byford. They still had problems here and there, but otherwise, they weren't working fine now. Also, Andy Byford forced the manufacturer to finally deliver one of the vacuum train that was also delayed. Of course, he forced the issue with the contractors that were doing the CBDC on the 7 line. It looked like they were going to drag it on forever and ever like they did with the airline. So, he laid also the riot act on them. If they didn't finish on time, he was going to fire them. He even did the riot act on even labor relations in the New York City Transit. I understand he was quoted saying, quote, "You hurting the morale." In other words, yes, labor relations were getting too rough and too fast and loose with the discipline down here, to the point that it started to irritate Andrew Byford. I remember one of the things they like to do is called the efficiency test, where they sabotage the signals, take down the boards, and hope somebody will make a mistake and take them out of service. It's just like a setup. So, yeah, they tried it on me. On the worst day possible, they had a signal problem at J Street. Train's already delayed. I had to go to Far Rockaway. So I got to 88 Boy. They did it twice at the same station. Man, saying, you know what? Call it in. Take my time. Forget it, because I'm not going to be able to make up the time. There's no way. Lucky I didn't do anything stupid. They would have taken me out of service. I thought it was going to collapse. But the thing is, you have a situation where you had two individuals, they're like rock stars in their own right, and there's only room for one rock star. And Andrew Cuomo thinks he's the one. Yep. Oh well. They're no longer here, but one to get to keep his job elsewhere. So I can't say so long for now, and don't forget your stop. Oh yes, Andy Byford's working in London now. London Underground.